Welcome to Momedram. In this video, we will see method overriding with throws class in Java. In this example, we have a class method overriding with throws. We have method 1 in the method overriding with throws class. We have created a subclass by extending this method overriding with throws class. That means this method 1 is inherited in the subclass. If you want to access this method 1, you can create object for subclass and you can able to access that method. If you're not happy with this superclass implementation, that time you can able to override in the subclass, that is method override void method 1, and you can provide your own implementations in the subclass method. So the process of changing the superclass method in the subclass is known as method overriding. When we are doing method overriding with the throws class, we need to follow some rules. Let us see that rules now. If superclass method is not throwing any exception in the subclass, you cannot throw any exception. Or if you want to throw any exception, you can throw any type of unchecked exceptions, but not the checked exceptions. Let us throw here unchecked exceptions and see. Unchecked exceptions are like null pointer exception, number format exception, this and all. If you see in this example, superclass method is not throwing any exception, but in the subclass we can throw unchecked exceptions. If you try to throw checked exceptions, that time it will give exception. So if we added checked type of exception, it will give error. If superclass method is not throwing any exceptions, then the subclass we should throw only checked type of exceptions, not the unchecked type of exceptions. Next, if superclass method is throwing any unchecked type of exceptions like null pointer exception, number format exception, null pointer exception, array index out of boundary exception. If superclass method is throwing any unchecked exception in the subclass, you can throw the same exceptions or any other unchecked type of exceptions also. Arithmetic exception let us add here. So we can throw any unchecked exception, it won't bother. Now let me add some code here. File output stream is equals to new file output stream of something. I will give test. If superclass method is throwing any type of checked exception, then the subclass can throw same checked exception or its subclasses. Like here, if you are not throw also, it will not give any error. If you want to throw, you have to throw same exception or its child exceptions. If you throw same exception, it won't give any error. If you throw input output exception, it is giving error. If you see, overridden method does not throw IO exception. That overridden method is nothing but this method 1. So if superclass method is throwing check type of exception, we have to throw same check type of exception or its subclasses, but we should not throw superclass exceptions of that exception. Let us summarize what we have discussed so far. If superclass method is not throwing any exceptions, then it can override with any unchecked type of exceptions, but we cannot override with checked type of exceptions. If superclass method is throwing unchecked exception, then it can be overridden in the subclass with same exceptions or any other unchecked type of exceptions, but we cannot be overridden with checked type of exceptions. If superclass method is throwing checked type of exceptions, then it can be overridden with same exception or with its subclass exceptions, but we cannot override with its superclass exceptions. That is, you cannot increase the scope of the exception, but you can decrease the scope of the exception. This type of questions are asked by my colleagues and my seniors. So this kind of interview questions also we can expect from the interviews. Hope you found this video helpful. Thanks for watching.